Alrighty, guys, welcome back. It's your boy EQ, and up next we have news that Kendrick Lamar and SZA's former label boss at TDE, whom they still have a very close relationship with, was just hit with a serious misconduct lawsuit by two women. Wack 100 also spoke on it, so we'll definitely be covering that as well. But the timing couldn't be more convenient, given that it's just a mere week away from Kendrick Lamar hitting probably the biggest stage of them all, the Super Bowl halftime show. And honestly, the outlets attaching Kendrick's name to this is crazy work when more than likely he has nothing to do with this other than the fact that he was once signed to them in the past. So I definitely want to preface it with that, but it's how some of these media outlets are choosing to spin this right now. Because having Kendrick Lamar's name attached to this, it's obviously going to bring a bunch of clips. And the conspiracy theories are definitely going to roll in, of people accusing this to just be another attempt to try to disrupt that performance, which honestly I feel like will actually create even more anticipation, as if there wasn't enough built already. And even with all that being said, I say this. Accusations like this should definitely be taken seriously, and they should be thoroughly investigated, because the last thing we want to do is keep victims from coming forward because of shame or being called a liar. So enough dilly-dallying, and let's jump right into this article before we get into the Wack 100 clip, where we have news that Kendrick Lamar and SZA's former label boss at TDE, whom they still have a very close relationship with, was just hit with a serious misconduct lawsuit by two women. And like I said earlier, with this being a week away from the halftime show, people are definitely going to question the timing of all this. All right. Kendrick Lamar label boss is sued for alleged sexual misconduct. This is an article by Newsweek. A record label representing some of the biggest artists in hip-hop has been slapped with a lawsuit alleging harassment and assault. Top Dog Entertainment is an independent record label that represents the likes of Peabody Award winner Kendrick Lamar, snooze singer SZA, and Collard Greens rapper Schoolboy Q. None of these artists are named in the suit or accused of any misbehavior, again cementing the fact that the only reason why these people are being attached to it is to drive more clicks. And also, for some, a move to disrupt the upcoming halftime show. Two women have alleged several of TDE's executives and employees committed harassment, assault, and breach of contract against them. The lawsuit claims TDE management turned a blind eye when they were made aware of the allegations at the time. And the fact that Kendrick Lamar's face is front and center in this article is crazy, when the people that should be front and center are the guys actually being accused of all this. Newsweek contacted TDE's offices and the men named in the lawsuit by email on Friday morning for comment. Lodged in at Los Angeles Superior Court, the lawsuit identifies the woman as Jane Doe's and alleges a pervasive culture of harassment within TDE, implicating some of its highest-ranking executives. The first plaintiff began working at TDE in 2019 and accuses Chief Marketing Officer Brandon Tiffith of approaching her with unwanted advances and battery. She also alleged that TDE's president, Anthony Tiffith Jr., who is the son of the label's founder, engaged in a pattern of ongoing harassment. This complaint also accuses TDE of failing to honor a contract between its presidents and the first Jane Doe to pay her for her professional services. The second plaintiff has alleged multiple instances of harassment and assault by TDE employees while on TDE property and under their control. She also described an incident where she was coerced into consuming alcohol while underage for the purpose of exploitation, and this definitely looks very nasty. The two women are being represented by attorney Shonak Darab of Arns Davis Law. This lawsuit presents a glaring example of the systemic abuse and exploitation in the entertainment industry, Darab said in a statement to Newsweek. Our clients trusted TDE to act with integrity and professionalism. Instead, their trust was betrayed in profoundly damaging ways. They're bringing this lawsuit because they refuse to be silent and because they intend to hold TDE accountable in court. The lawsuit is not the only legal action Lamar is adjacent to. His rival Drake, whose given name is Aubrey Drake Graham, his Karen name, is suing Universal Music Group, UMG, which distributes both of their music, for defamation. And the whole way they're describing this is obviously crazy work. In no way is Kendrick Lamar actually getting sued in any of these cases, but these outlets are definitely trying to frame it that way. The rappers have been in a long-running feud that escalated last year when the pair released a series of diss tracks against each other. But Drake was unhappy, obviously, with Lamar's Not Like Us, because in the song, Lamar accuses him of being a certified PDF and cultural appropriation. And Drake, people have been accusing you of that for a very long time, well before any of this stuff. The song went viral, topping global music charts and being nominated for 6 Grammys. Drake is now taking UMG to court, saying they allowed Lamar to smear his character in the song, but UMG has denied the claims. Obviously, they're going to argue that he did the same exact thing by engaging with him multiple times. The defamation suit also does not name Lamar, but rather references Drake's previous legal action against UMG, where he claimed that the record company used bots and payola to inflate the success of Not Like Us. Drake withdrew that legal action earlier this month and then filed the defamation suit. And I definitely take away some of the trustworthy points by then continuing to reference Kendrick Lamar as if he had anything to do with any of these lawsuits. Yeah, he is adjacent to it because he was signed to TDE for a very long time, but the guy has been independent since like 2022. So this almost feels like a smear campaign in its own right, and the only reason they're probably doing that is to drive more traffic to this article. Obviously, I truly believe that these accusations should totally be taken seriously because we don't want to scare actual victims of coming forward. It's definitely a super brave thing, and the last thing you want to do is scare people into thinking that they're just going to be ridiculed or just be deemed liars. So while I truly believe that, I also think that Kendrick Lamar shouldn't be the main person attached to this, which is crazy because he's not the one being accused of any of this stuff. We also have, like I said earlier, Wack 100 speaking on the news of the lawsuit. So let's jump into that clip. Have over here.
Subcontracted and sent you as the worker. So now I want to know, was you directly contracted to TDE or was you contracted through another entity in which TDE paid and maybe they didn't pay, right?
Got it.
Damn, he does talk like a federal informant, though.
So first, I haven't heard no physical contact or
Allegedly.
sexual assault or none of that. Two, we don't know if you was contracted directly to TDE or an entity at TDE had a contract and you been subcontracted out. Three, you didn't put no dollar amount. See, ordinarily when a person don't include a dollar amount because they may be owed $278, but they know if they put that down there, people gonna look at it like, what are you talking about? Is that a...
Yeah, but I feel like that's also probably the smallest factor in all this. The fact that she's alleging actual ex harassment, I feel like that takes first priority when it comes to the charges being alleged.
discrepancy in some hours or some shit, right? Because if older person 100,000, 20,000, 50,000, 1,000, 5,000, they're gonna put that in there, right? I don't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Three, you mentioned everybody but the founder, which is who we know as top dog, right? So everybody else I see you mention are people that he's positioned within his companies. Four, you're saying you were coerced into drinking alcohol. Now,
which is obviously definitely a thing. And if any of this stuff was done by TDE employees, obviously Top Dog is going to be liable for this since it's happening in his workplace.
Here goes the problems with open studio sessions. See, when you walk through the door, immediately to the right, there's always this little stand, and it got a tray on it. And on the tray, right, is usually liquors,
Bud,
Red Bulls, and juices, and little mints, and peanuts, and standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when people come into the studio, right, anybody can go over there and get a water, get a Red Bull, pour a shot, or whatever.
Yeah, that's definitely factual. I've been a producer for quite some time now. I've been signed for about 4 years now, going on 5 actually, and that's definitely the case. Some of these higher end studios even have chefs on call. A lot of it is because these artists have to drink or smoke to get into music making mode, but having those services also makes it more efficient because people are less likely to leave to go pick up any of this stuff. But that's definitely a common occurrence.
Nobody's really paying attention to this. I'm just gonna be real with you. So when I hear you say you were coerced, I'm not hearing you saying this individual brought me some liquor and I was underage. Are you saying you were coerced because you were in a studio environment and you chose to go over there and pour yourself a drink? Another thing, if she was 15, 16, 17, or 19.
She might be like 19 or even 20, but that would still be considered underage.
I think her age would have been included because now it makes it look even worse. See, when they leave certain out, it's because it sounds better, right?
That's true.
Without putting in there the 20-year-old such and such and such and such in the month of May, although going to be 21 in July, right? See?
Totally, but even him saying that is just speculation also as well.
Whenever it's up, they're going to give you all the details because they want you to know it's up. When they came out against Diddy, they said 13-year-old. They didn't just say female was attacked. They gave her age. They gave all this. The other lady they supposed to flew in, they said 16-year-old, right? R. Kelly, they gave you an age. They weren't playing no games. So now we want to know, how old was she? Did she voluntarily go get the liquor that was over there? Because I believe at the age of 20, right, or even 19, that you know what you supposed to be doing and shouldn't be doing.
That's a
Are they
fact.
guilty? Are they guilty of having a security guard not standing over there by this tray, right? Because somebody have came in there that may want to take advantage of what's accessible, right? Are we gonna treat the liquor bottle as a firearm in a home around children?
Yeah, of course not. She could have openly went on her own clear volition and got the liquor for herself. And there's definitely people that have succumbed to peer pressure. And there's also the people that don't want to feel like the odd man out, so they'll join just so they don't look weird by being the only sober one there. And if anyone knows where Wack got his law degree, definitely comment it below.
If that's what we gonna do, that's your narrative you want to run. That got to be your narrative. But
Of
I
course,
believe
attorneys are going to
a
do that.
person at a certain age, right? And I'm gonna personally tell myself, anybody from 18 on know what they supposed to be doing and not supposed to be doing.
But they
Wack is trying to make it all about age when at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how old you are if you're receiving this type of harassment. So I don't know if he's setting his eyes on the right target, but from everything I've been reading, the nastiest part is that it happened at all.
trying to
Straight
say
up.
that they were coerced into
But I'm
drinking.
saying, but okay, they never said they were offered. They never said
Right.
they were forced, right? So now we gotta ask ourselves, are you playing games, word games, right? Because
Yeah.
if you were forced, right, your ass would say that, right?
Right.
You would said I was forced, or I was offered,
Yeah,
right?
because she said that she was that she described an incident where she was coerced
Okay.
into consuming alcohol.
Yeah, it could literally be, like I said, peer pressuring and egging it on. Guys, if somebody says no the first time, just stop. A lot of these situations could be avoided if you just did that and just stopped. Coercion could just mean that she denied it the first time and somebody talked her into doing it the second time or after the third time being asked. And while assault on a child is obviously probably one of the worst things on the planet, assault is assault. And no one should have to deal with that.
Now I'm
While
gonna tell you
underage.
why that is a strong word.
Right.
Right? That says an unwilling person to do something by use of force and threats.
Right.
Right? So that means somebody forced you or threatened you, if you don't do this or else,
No.
or here, you better do this.
That's
right?
what they said.
Now, if that's the case,
I think Wack thinks that coercion is literally forcing the alcohol down somebody's throat. If somebody keeps telling you drink this over and over again and the person you're asking is saying no and then finally relents, I'm pretty sure that can be classified as coercion. I think Wack is failing to realize what's so wrong about these accusations.
because of people like Scott Storch's ex-wife baby mama. Let me slow it down. Because of people like Scott Storch's ex-wife baby mama Flo, who will call all kind of racist slurs and then double back and say, I apologize, but I only did it because he groped me. And then see the video comes out that the individual you say groped you was nowhere behind you, was always 4 or 5 feet away from you. And
this is a major false equivalency and has nothing to do with this situation. And automatically assuming that someone is lying is obviously going to be something that deters people from trying to come forward with any of these type of allegations because of people like Wack. While the accusations obviously can be false, you still have to do your due diligence and investigate.
Really tossed the keys at you because he didn't want to have nothing to do with you. And because you see a visual is out, now you're forced to come out and say, I lied. Right? So now, let me double back to this. You say you were coerced, which means you were threatened and forced.
No.
You got to show us that. You got to show us where you was threatened and where you was forced. How long ago did this happen? Where were you when this happened?
Right.
You notice we never heard anything about his text message communications, or she received phone calls about this, that, or the other. So now we got to make sure this is maybe, are you one of the individuals that maybe was working there and on the 89th day, like temporary agency does, maybe let you go and you maybe tried to double back because you felt everything was buddy. They might have gave you a few compliments here and there because technically you grown if you're over a certain age.
He's fabricating whole plot lines and storylines out of thin air. If you could assume this, you could pretty much assume any type of scenario. And I don't really think Wack should talk until more information is divulged and more details about the case comes out, because the last thing you want to do is try to push this narrative and then be found out later that all this stuff was true.
Age, and maybe the offer wasn't extended or the opportunity wasn't extended, and you
I mean,
sat
that could
back
be.
and a couple years later you got mad. We want to know. It's too many holes in it. We want to know. We want to know where you were when this happened. We want to know if you were amongst other people. We want to know, did somebody force you or
This is what a lawsuit is all about, to find all this stuff out, Wack. You, out of all people, should know that.
threaten you to drink liquor? It never says no physical anything happens sexually. So we just want to know, right? I see this and I think it should be some type of law against this. They got Jay-Z the same way. They got Jay-Z. This attorney, when it filed it, didn't even investigate it, talk to the father or nothing. Files it when Jay-Z's team go
I see the name
investigate it.
attached
The
to it.
father comes out and says it's a complete lie. She was 13 that year, and we live 5 hours away. There's no way I would be dropping her off and picking her up 5 hours away. I don't recall any of this happening. If the attorneys would have went and investigated, would you have announced against this man's name? Or even called this dude and tried to extort him and say for this amount he can go away?
Well, obviously, like I said, I do feel like all accusations should be properly investigated. I do feel like there probably should be some consequences from people throwing false accusations, because there's definitely a bunch of situations where somebody lied on somebody and got them locked up for a very long time, only to have no real consequences for the accuser.
So it's just some holes in it. We wanna know where you were at, how old you were. Was it an open bar situation?
It's literally what the suit will determine.
Right? We want to know these things, right? Did they force you? Did they pull a gun on you? Did he put his hands around? Did he grab you by your shoulder? Right? Did he corner you in a room by yourself? And I believe if these were the things that actually happened, they would have included these details. They wouldn't have left them out. So we want to know, were you 18? Were you 20? Was you 19? We know you wasn't 21.
Well, they
Can't
say
be
it happened in
21.
2019.
But we
So
don't know. We don't know how. Okay, how old is she today?
that's what I don't know.
We
I don't
can't do
know.
the math.
Right.
So this is 2019. So we talking 6 years ago.
Because it says the first plaintiff began working at TDE in 2019 and accuses Chief Marketing Officer Brandon Tiff of approaching her with unwanted sexual advances and
Now
sexual
stop.
battery.
Okay, battery? So that means he put his hands on you. Okay.
Smacked some butt. He smacked the butt, touched the arm, held her by her hand or
What did he
anything.
do?
It could have been any of that, but
It could have
doesn't
been
say
yeah.
But what I'm saying, they give no description
at
of
all.
what,
Yeah.
right? When
Somebody that's had like federal informant rumors for as long as I can remember, he for sure hasn't learned much about law.
and did some foul, will walk up on you and spit in your face, you're gonna say, I was assaulted and okay, he spit in my face.
Right.
They're gonna say it. So it's just lacking a whole lot of right? It's just lacking a whole lot of things that we need to know. Okay, 2019, how old were you then?
Right.
You say you wasn't paid. Were you contracted directly with TDE or were you through a temp agency? Right?
I'm sorry, Wack, you are a complete buffoon, man. Obviously, these details will come out when the attorneys are presenting their case. It's the same reason why a lot of the Diddy details haven't really been released yet. We're going to learn a lot more as these trials get underway. These attorneys are going to hold their cards close to their chest, more than likely until the trial starts. But all these questions he's asking are literally going to be answered once the attorneys make their arguments.
Or were you somebody else's assistant that was placed there? Like, what, we just need to know. You were coerced, so who forced what? Where were you? What was the environment? Were you in a car? Were you, where were you at? Or you at a listening party? Were you in the studio?
This guy, man.
Like, we just need to know. We ain't saying you're lying. We just saying there's a whole lot of holes in.
Wack, you're not on the jury. You're not one of the attorneys. You don't really need to know anything. Obviously, this information will be public, but these attorneys don't owe you anything in regards of the information that they should be divulging right now at this moment.
The story on what you're talking about.
And why do they get to remain like Jane Does in these cases? I don't like that, bro. That
And
shit
witness
is
intimidation.
That's another thing. That's another thing. I'm going to tell you why. Because TDE probably sitting around saying, who is this?
But this the thing.
They don't know.
If you can remain a Jane Doe, right? A lot of these times when these things happen and they remain as Jane Does, a lot of the times these things get thrown out, right? But the public perception is still in these people's mind about the person who got accused. That right?
Now here goes the thing.
But it says that
this
she
is nothing about it criminal. It's all simple.
And she said that she's accusing because the Jane Doe wasn't paid for her professional services or some shit like that.
What was the professional services?
About some money, basically.
She's saying that the complaint is accusing the TDE for failing to honor a contract between its president and the first Jane Doe to pay her for her professional services. So whatever services she's providing.
Low key, it's just like a bunch of idiots talking amongst each other, validating a bunch of BS.
Were you contracted directly again by TDE?
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
What? Okay, so where's the contract? Where's the documentation?
Right.
Was it verbal? Was it a handshake? Was it a verbal that, hey, I got $1,000, you can do this, and you came and you didn't fulfill your obligation? What was it? What was it? It's a whole lot of holes. We hear the accusation. It's a few things we need to know. A, do you have a contract? If so, where is it at? B, how much money were you owed and how much money were you paid, if any? C, coercion. Were you forced? Who forced you? Where were you at? Were you amongst people? Were you by yourself? Was it an open studio? It's just there? When we order food, whatever it is, it come in, we put that shit on the table, niggas grab what they grab, niggas out.
For sure.
Well, they said, the second plaintiff said that she alleged multiple instances of sexual harassment and assault by TDE.
Yeah, man, I don't really get agitated by too many of these videos, but this is definitely one that did just that. Obviously, all these questions will be answered once these attorneys make their arguments. This news literally came out like yesterday. So the fact that he's asking for these details as if he were the court, as if he were the defense attorney, as if he were the prosecutor is pure lunacy. And the combined intelligence of the other people on that call are even lower than his. The fact that he's just zoning in on the age thing, when underage just means obviously under 21, is crazy because he's missing the point that X harassment is bad no matter age or gender. Even in this caption right here, it's not focused on the age at all, which obviously means that the person is above 18, more than likely a college intern, if anything. But all the people on this call were missing the point. And yes, it's totally plausible that the people accusing them are lying, but because of the nature of these allegations, they have to be investigated. These details will eventually come out, and if it's proven that they did lie, I do feel like there should be some consequences for them. Will they receive any? More than likely not. But if people keep doing what Wack is doing and they're demonizing the accuser and they're automatically making them out to be liars, all you're going to do is scare the actual victims from ever coming out and telling their story because they fear this type of treatment, which has been very common for a very long time. I really don't like the fact that they keep throwing Kendrick's name into this as if he had some real involvement in this. Obviously, I see it as a very desperate attempt of them trying to get eyeballs on their story because obviously people are going to click to see if Kendrick Lamar had any involvement. Definitely investigate all accusations, but obviously I wouldn't be lying as if the timing weren't very suspicious Given, like I said in the intro, that the Super Bowl halftime show is a week away now. Definitely let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this whole case? And what do you think of the way Wack 100 was trying to spin this? I truly think his perspective was really off, and he was focused on the wrong aspects of this lawsuit. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know if you guys think that this was intentionally filed to distract from Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, because I definitely know a bunch of conspiracy theories are definitely going to be floating around now. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, guys. It does the channel wonders. I really want to thank you guys for making the channel a part of your day. It honestly does mean a lot. And I want to let you guys know how grateful I am for all the love and support that you guys continue to show the channel on a daily. It honestly probably is the biggest reason that I make these videos. So I'm definitely looking forward to what you guys have to say on this topic. Hope you guys love this video, and I hope to see you guys soon. I know the conspiracy theory is about to flood in right now.